Greetings, dear listeners, and a heartfelt welcome to another soothing episode of Dozing Historian. Tonight, we're embarking on a vivid journey back 25,000 years to the Paleolithic era, peeling away the layers of time to reveal the intricate, resilient, and deeply human lives of our ancient ancestors. Forget the simplistic stereotypes of cavemen dragging clubs and grunting. This is the real story of their daily existence, woven with skill, community, and an unbreakable bond with the natural world. If these tales of the past resonate with you, I'd be overjoyed if you'd tap that like or subscribe button. I'm always curious about where you're tuning in from, so please drop a comment with your location and local time. It's truly remarkable to think of you all scattered across the globe, cozying up for these stories. Now, find your softest blanket, take a slow, deep breath, and let yourself sink into your bed or chair. By the end of this journey, you'll be thanking your lucky stars for that plush mattress and the warmth of modern life. Picture waking up in a cave 25,000 years ago, nestled in a world untouched by the trappings of modernity. No roads, no buildings, no machines, just the raw pulse of the earth. The first sensation is the cold, a piercing bone-deep chill that grips your body, making your muscles tense and your teeth chatter despite your best efforts to stay warm. You're lying on a woven mat of sedge grass and rushes, meticulously layered to provide some cushion against the unyielding stone floor. But it's rough, prickling your skin with every shift, like sleeping on a bed of brittle, rustling straw. Over you is a heavy animal hide, perhaps deer or aurochs, warm but coarse, its texture scratching against your bare arms, carrying the musky, smoky scent of the animal it once was, blended with the faint, bitter tang of plant tannins used to cure it over weeks of careful preparation. The air around you is thick with a complex tapestry of smells, the sharp, acrid bite of wood smoke from last night's fire, the damp, mineral-rich aroma of the cave's limestone walls, the lingering, savory trace of roasted meat from yesterday's meal, and the earthy, slightly sour scent of unwashed bodies huddled close for warmth. There's also a faint, green undertone from the piles of grass bedding scattered across the chamber, mingling with the greasy, animalistic smell of fat used to waterproof clothing and skin against the elements. In the dimness, the cave feels alive with sound, a symphony that wraps around you like a familiar melody. Soft drips of water echo from unseen depths, their rhythmic patter a soothing yet mysterious reminder of the cave's hidden chambers, winding through the rock. The steady, almost musical snores of your kin fill the space, a comforting assurance of the community that surrounds you, each breath a thread in the fabric of your shared survival. Nearby, a baby makes tiny, contented coos, a universal sound that stirs a quiet warmth in your chest, connecting you to the future of your people. Beyond the cave's mouth, the world is stirring. The distant melodic calls of early birds weave through the morning air, their songs a chorus of trills, whistles, and soft warbles. The rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze carries the faint snap of a twig or the scurry of a small creature, perhaps a hare or fox, moving through the underbrush, a reminder of the vast, wild world just beyond the safety of your shelter. Your body protests as you stir, every muscle aching from yesterday's relentless demands. Hours of trekking across rocky hills, hunting elusive game, or foraging for plants in the dense forest. Your feet, toughened to leather by years of navigating roots, stones, and thorns without shoes, still throb with a dull, persistent soreness, their calluses thick but not immune to fatigue. Your back carries the stiffness of a lifetime spent sleeping on hard surfaces with only grass mats and animal hides to soften the unyielding stone. Yet, despite the discomfort, you're alive. A triumph in a world where survival is never guaranteed. You're no crude caricature of a caveman. You're a master of your environment, your mind a living library of knowledge that would astonish modern humans. You know the properties of hundreds of plants, some for nourishment, some for healing, some for poison. You can track a deer by the subtlest signs, a single bent blade of grass, a faint scuff on a rock, a whiff of musk carried on the wind. You can create fire from nothing but wood and friction, shape stone tools sharper than surgical steel, and predict the weather by the shape of clouds, the flight of birds, or the feel of the air against your skin. Every skill, honed through years of practice and observation, is a shield against the ever-present threat of death. You shift on your mat, the grass crunching softly beneath you, releasing a faint puff of earthy scent that mingles with the cave's damp air. The chamber is cloaked in shadow, lit only by the faint, pulsing glow of embers in the central fire pit, and the soft, grayish dawn light seeping through the cave's entrance. Your band, roughly 23 souls, your family and extended kin, sleeps in clusters around you, each person nestled on their own mat of woven grasses and furs. Parents curl protectively around their children, siblings lie close for warmth, and elders rest nearer the fire, their slower breaths a quiet testament to their years of survival. The fire is the heart of your world, a sacred force that must never be allowed to die. Someone, likely the night's last watcher, has tended it carefully through the dark hours, feeding it just enough wood to keep the embers alive without wasting precious fuel. The coals glow like tiny stars, casting flickering shadows across the cave walls, where ancient, ochre-stained drawings of animals, bison with sweeping horns, deer in mid-leap, horses galloping across imagined plains, seem to move in the dim light. These paintings, crafted by your ancestors, are more than decoration. They're a spiritual link to the animals that sustain you, a bridge between your people and the wild forces of the world. You know the scent and purpose of every wood in the fire, a knowledge as intimate as your own heartbeat. Oak burns long and steady, its dense heat perfect for sustaining warmth through the coldest nights. Birch catches quickly, its sweet, aromatic smoke ideal for kindling or sending signals across distances. Pine is useful for starting fires, but too resinous for cooking, leaving a smoky tang that clings to food and irritates the lungs. The embers now are mostly oak, their deep, rich scent blending with the cave's damp mineral air. Maintaining the fire is a communal duty, a task passed from one person to another through the night, ensuring the band's survival. Losing the fire would mean hours of grueling work to restart it, a process requiring dry tinder, a fire bow, a flat wooden board, and a spindle spun with relentless precision. The technique is exacting. The spindle, spun by the bow's cord, grinds against the board, creating friction that births a tiny ember, which must be nursed into flame with gentle breaths and carefully placed tinder. Every adult in your band has mastered this skill, learned as children through years of practice, their hands calloused from the effort. Time to rise. You push yourself upright, your joints creaking and popping, a reminder of a life without modern comforts, like foam mattresses or painkillers. The cold stone floor bites at your calloused soles, sending a shiver up your legs that makes you long for the fire's warmth. Around you, others are stirring. A deep, jaw-cracking yawn echoes from one corner, followed by a groan as someone stretches, their silhouette briefly outlined against the fire's faint glow. The morning's first task is always the fire, the center of your existence, the force that binds your community and keeps the cold at bay. You move toward the pit, joining Lyra, the group's unspoken leader, whose calm authority comes from decades of experience surviving winters, hunts, and lean times. She's already kneeling by the embers, her weathered hands selecting kindling, dry twigs, strips of birch bark, and fine shavings of cedar, whittled with a flint knife. You help arrange the kindling in a careful structure, ensuring enough airflow to coax the flames back to life. Together, you blow gently on the coals, your breath stirring the red glow until tiny flames lick at the bark, their heat immediate and reassuring. The fire catches, its warmth spreading like a promise, its light pushing back the cave's deep shadows. The scent of fresh smoke sharpens, blending with the warm, mineral smell of heated stone, a reminder that fire is life, warmth, protection, the key to cooking food and warding off predators. As the flames grow, the cave awakens fully, its quiet rhythm giving way to a soft hum of activity. Children rub their eyes, their small forms emerging from beneath furs, their breath visible in the cool air. Adults rise, checking the tools they keep close to their sleeping areas, spears, knives, scrapers, each a lifeline crafted with care. Your band is small but tightly knit, a community of 23 whose survival depends on cooperation and trust. Yesterday was a successful day. The hunters brought down a deer, its meat enough to feed everyone, and the gatherers returned with baskets brimming with nuts, roots, and berries. But that was yesterday, and the forest offers no guarantees. Today you start anew, the ever-present question hanging in the air: what will we eat? Hunger is a constant companion, a quiet pressure that drives every decision, every step, every moment of your day. You settle near the fire, its warmth seeping into your chilled bones, and nibble on leftover meat warmed over the flames. The meat is tough, requiring serious chewing, but its smoky flavor is rich, a direct connection to the animal that gave its life. You pair it with a handful of hazelnuts from yesterday's haul, their oily, slightly bitter taste a burst of energy for your body. It's a modest meal, nothing like the feasts of the modern world, but it quiets the hunger gnawing at your stomach, giving you strength for the day ahead. Around the fire, the day's plan takes shape, not through formal meetings, but through quiet, purposeful conversation, voices low to avoid waking the youngest children. The hunters, 7 strong and led by Jorik, a wiry man with a keen eye for tracks, will head east, following a game trail spotted yesterday. They hope to intercept deer at a nearby stream, a place where animals gather at dawn to drink. Hunting is perilous, often ending in empty hands, but a single kill can sustain the group for days, its meat, hide, and bones all put to use. The gatherers, including you, will fan out through the forest, searching for anything edible. Plants, berries, mushrooms, eggs, insects, or medicinal herbs. Gathering is less glamorous than hunting, but more reliable, demanding an encyclopedic knowledge of the landscape. Which berries are safe, which roots need soaking to remove toxins, where to find flint for tools, when certain plants are in season. You check your gear, a collection of essentials that fit in your hands or hang from a belt of twisted plant fibers, strong yet flexible, woven by your sister last spring. Your stone knife, crafted with care from a flint core, is your most prized possession, its edge dulled slightly from yesterday's work of cutting roots and scraping hides. You sit by the fire with a hammerstone, a smooth river rock that fits perfectly in your palm, and carefully flake away tiny chips to restore the knife's razor sharpness. The soft chip, chip, chip of stone on stone echoes through the cave, blending with similar sounds from others tending their own tools, a rhythmic percussion that feels like the heartbeat of your people. Crafting a good blade is an art, requiring precise strikes at the right angle and force to shape a flake without shattering the core. One wrong hit could ruin hours of work, but your hands are steady, guided by years of practice under the watchful eyes of elders. You test the knife's edge on a scrap of leather, and it cuts cleanly, sharp enough to slice hide, meat, or plant fibers with ease. Your other tools, a fire-hardened digging stick for unearthing roots, a leather pouch for carrying fines, a small bundle of fire-starting tinder wrapped in bark, are in good order, ready for the day's work. The tinder, a mix of dried moss and wood shavings, is a precious resource, kept dry in a waterproof pouch to ensure you can start a fire even in rain. The cave hums with morning activity, a quiet but purposeful buzz. Children old enough to help tend the fire, adding small sticks or sweeping ash to keep the pit clear. Their movements careful but confident, learned through years of watching and mimicking adults. Toddlers cling to their mothers, their wide eyes taking in every detail, learning through observation in a world without classrooms or books. A baby fusses, her cries sharp but quickly soothed as her mother nurses while mending a woven basket, her fingers deft despite the distraction. The basket, crafted from flexible reeds and willow strips, is a marvel of craftsmanship, its tight weave strong enough to carry heavy loads of foraged goods. Every object in the cave, baskets, tools, clothing, represents hours of skilled labor, a testament to your people's ingenuity and resourcefulness. A broken basket means hours of reweaving. A dull knife means napping a new one. A torn tunic means sewing with sinew and bone needles. Nothing is wasted, everything is repaired, and every task is a step toward survival. At the cave's mouth, Lyra and two hunters, Yorick and Tora, study the morning sky, their eyes scanning for signs of the day's weather. They read the clouds' shapes, high, wispy streaks or heavy, dark masses, the wind's direction, the behavior of birds flitting through the trees. Without satellites or weather apps, they rely on a lifetime of observation. High clouds might mean rain by evening. A sudden shift in wind could signal a storm. The frantic flight of birds often hints at changing pressure. Today, the sky is clear, a pale blue stretching over the forest, the air calm, the birds singing their usual morning chorus. A promising day for foraging and hunting. You pull on your clothing, a fitted tunic and leggings of soft deer hide, sewn with sinew thread using bone needles, each stitch a small act of patience. Your boots, stuffed with dry grass for insulation, are simple but effective, their leather soles toughened by months of use. A heavy cloak of thicker hide, likely elk, hangs over your shoulders, ready for sudden chills or rain. Every garment is handmade, tailored for movement, treated with animal fat to repel water, and reinforced at stress points with extra stitching. There are no pockets, no zippers, no synthetic fabrics, just leather, fur, and plant fibers, crafted through techniques passed down for generations. The boot's grass stuffing must be replaced daily to stay warm and dry, a small but critical task to prevent blisters or frostbite in colder months. Your group of 9 gatherers assembles near the cave entrance, tools in hand, ready to face the forest. Stepping out, you leave the cave's safety behind, the transition abrupt yet familiar, like stepping from a warm house into a winter storm. The world outside is vast and alive, an old-growth forest stretching endlessly in every direction. Towering oaks, beeches, and ashes form a canopy so dense that sunlight filters down in shifting golden beams, painting the forest floor in patterns of light and shadow. The ground is carpeted with layers of decomposing leaves, soft and slightly damp under your feet, releasing a rich, earthy scent with every step. The air is alive with sound, a chorus of birds, each species adding its distinct call, shrill trills, soft coos, sharp whistles, blending into a symphony that fills the forest. Small animals rustle through the underbrush, their movements quick and cautious, their presence betrayed by the faintest snap of a twig or the flicker of a tail. The breeze carries the scent of green growth, damp soil, and the faint musk of wildlife passing nearby, a world untouched by pollution or industry, pure and vibrant in its rawness. Your group moves with practiced silence, spreading out to cover more ground but staying within earshot, a precaution against the forest's dangers. Solitude is risky, Predators like bears or wolves, or even rival human bands competing for resources, could strike at any moment. But together you're a unit, alert and resilient. You scan the forest floor, your eyes trained to spot useful plants or signs of game. Every step is deliberate, your senses attuned to the landscape. A bent twig might mean a deer passed recently. A patch of disturbed soil could hide edible roots. A faint, sweet scent might lead to berries. This knowledge, passed down through countless generations, is your greatest asset. A mental map of the forest, built through years of observation, trial, and survival. The forest is both your home and your challenge, offering everything you need to live but demanding constant vigilance, respect, and skill. An hour into your trek, Kale, the group's plant expert, calls softly from a clearing, her voice low to avoid startling nearby animals. She's found a patch of wild garlic, its broad, heart-shaped leaves and tiny white flowers unmistakable against the forest floor's green and brown mosaic. You kneel beside her, using your digging stick to carefully unearth the small, pungent bulbs, taking care not to bruise their delicate skins. These bulbs are more than food. They're medicine, effective against infections, soothing coughs, or adding flavor to bland meals of meat or roots. The sharp, spicy scent stings your nose as you wrap them in a soft leather scrap and tuck them into your pouch, its weight a satisfying reminder of the morning's progress. Kale shares a quick smile, her eyes bright with the satisfaction of a good find, her hands stained with soil and smelling of garlic. The group moves on, each person following their own path, but staying connected by soft calls or hand signals, a silent language that binds you together without alerting predators. You find hazelnuts still in their green husks, their prickly shells yielding rich, oily nuts when cracked open with a stone. Nearby, clusters of tart, seedy berries stain your fingers purple as you collect them, their flavor sharp but nourishing, a burst of tartness that wakes your senses. Kyle points out a colony of mushrooms on a fallen log, but shakes her head. They're toxic, identifiable by their reddish caps and bitter smell, a lesson learned through the tragic mistakes of past generations. Instead, she guides you to a safer variety nearby, their earthy scent promising a hearty addition to tonight's meal, their texture firm and meaty when cooked. The knowledge required for gathering is staggering, a mental library carried in your heads, built on centuries of survival. Every plant, every root, every berry carries a story of nourishment or danger. Some roots, like burdock, must be soaked for hours to leach out their bitterness. Others, like certain tubers, are edible only in spring, when their toxins are dormant. Certain berries are sweet and safe, their glossy surfaces inviting, while nearly identical ones can cause vomiting or death with a single bite. Mushrooms demand precise identification. Spore color, stem texture, or scent can mean the difference between a meal and a grave. This wisdom, passed down through stories, songs, and hands-on teaching, is a living tradition, a chain unbroken across millennia. No one forages alone until they've spent years learning from experts like Kale, whose sharp eyes and steady hands have kept the band fed and healthy for decades. Her knowledge is a treasure, as vital as the fire or the tools you carry, and you feel a quiet gratitude for her guidance, knowing it's a gift that ensures your survival. Around midday, Tora's excited shout cuts through the forest's hum, drawing the group to a stream bank where the water gurgles over smooth stones. High in an ancient oak, some 20 feet up, is a dark hollow buzzing with bees, a wild hive, a rare and precious find that sends a ripple of excitement through the group. Honey is a treasure, sweet, energy-packed, and medicinal. It's worth the risk of stings and falls. Tora, the group's best climber, plans the approach with quiet confidence, his eyes tracing the tree's gnarled branches for the safest route. You gather dry wood and green leaves to create a smoky fire at the tree's base, piling the materials carefully to produce thick, white smoke that rises to calm the bees. Bees, attuned to forest fires, gorge on honey when smoked, becoming less aggressive as they prepare to abandon the hive. Tora strips off his tunic to avoid snags, revealing a lean, muscled frame, scarred from past climbs and hunts. He climbs with the grace of a panther, his calloused hands and feet finding invisible holds in the rough bark, his movements fluid and sure. His skill is a reminder of your people's physical prowess. No gyms, no trainers, just a lifetime of climbing, running, and lifting in a world that demands strength and agility. Your band's children learn these skills young, scrambling up trees and rocks as naturally as walking. Their bodies shaped by the environment, their instincts honed by necessity. The buzzing quiets as the smoke reaches the hive, the bees hum softening to a low murmur, like a distant storm fading. Tora reaches into the hollow, his face taut with concentration, as he extracts a dripping chunk of honeycomb, golden and fragrant, its surface glistening in the dappled light filtering through the canopy. He tosses it down to waiting hands, the sweet scent wafting up as you catch it carefully in a leather wrap, its sticky weight a promise of joy for the band. He retrieves 2 more chunks, each one larger than the last, before descending, dropping the final few feet to land lightly on the forest floor. A few bee stings mark his arms and shoulders, red welts that he brushes off with a grin, unfazed by the minor pain. You break off a small piece of honeycomb, and the sweetness explodes on your tongue. Floral, rich, like sunlight distilled into sugar, layered with notes of wildflowers, clover, and thyme. Unlike modern sweets, this honey carries the essence of the forest itself, a taste so pure it feels like a gift from the earth. The combs are wrapped carefully in leather, their golden contents protected for the journey back to the cave, where they'll be shared sparingly, a rare treat for children and adults alike, and a medicine for wounds or coughs. The afternoon unfolds slowly, the sun climbing higher in the sky, its rays piercing the forest canopy in golden shafts that warm your leather-clad body, easing the morning's lingering chill. Your gathering pouch grows heavier with each carefully chosen find. Wild garlic bulbs, hazelnuts still in their prickly husks, tart berries that stain your fingers, and mushrooms vetted by Kale's expert eye. The work is rhythmic, almost meditative, your body moving in harmony with the forest's pulse. Each step through the soft, leaf-strewn floor releases a rich, earthy scent, grounding you in the moment. Denny, an elder whose knowledge of medicinal plants rivals even Kale's, walks beside you, her sharp gaze scanning the undergrowth for hidden treasures. She pauses to point out a cluster of yarrow, its feathery leaves and tiny white flowers nearly invisible among the ferns. For wounds or fever, she says, her voice low but clear, as she kneels to demonstrate how to harvest the stems without damaging the roots. Yarrow's bitter, spicy scent clings to your fingers as you cut the stems with your flint knife, tucking them into your pouch alongside the garlic and mint. These plants are more than food. They're your pharmacy, capable of staunching bleeding or easing illness in a world where a minor injury can turn deadly without care. You move deeper into the forest, following a faint trail worn by generations of your people, its path marked by subtle signs, a flattened patch of moss, a stone smoothed by countless footsteps. The trees here are ancient, their massive trunks, some wider than 4 people standing shoulder to shoulder, rising like pillars into a canopy thick with leaves. The air feels cooler in their shade, heavy with the scent of damp moss and decaying wood, a rich, organic aroma that speaks of life and death in endless cycles. Your group pauses by a small stream, its water crystal clear and cold, tumbling over smooth stones polished by centuries of flow. You kneel to drink, scooping the icy water in a wooden cup carved from a single piece of ash, its surface worn smooth by years of use. The water's mineral purity is sharp on your tongue, untouched by the pipes or chemicals of the modern world, a direct gift from the earth that numbs your hands with its chill. You fill a leather bladder, its seams carefully stitched with sinew to prevent leaks, and sling it over your shoulder. Carrying water is a balance, enough to sustain you through the day, but not so much that it weighs you down on the long trek back. Lunch is a simple communal affair, shared on a mossy bank beside the stream. You sit on fallen logs, their surfaces softened by years of decay, and eat leftover deer meat from yesterday, its texture chewy but rich with smoky flavor from the fire. The meat is paired with bitter hazelnuts and tart berries, their sharp taste waking your senses. The meal is modest by modern standards, but deeply satisfying, each bite earned through your collective skill and the forest's generosity. Eating feels almost sacred, a moment of connection to the land and the animals that sustain you. Your body, lean and strong from a lifetime of constant movement, processes this food efficiently, every calorie fueling the work still ahead. As you chew, you listen to the stream's gentle gurgle and the shifting songs of birds, their calls changing as the day progresses, a subtle cue that time is moving. The forest is a living entity, its rhythms guiding your actions, its sounds a constant dialogue between you and the world. Denny shares more wisdom as you eat, pointing to a patch of wild mint growing in the stream's damp shade. Its cool, sharp scent cuts through the air as she crushes a leaf between her fingers, explaining how it soothes stomach pains or freshens breath after a meal of strong-tasting meat. You pluck a few leaves, their fragrance a small luxury in a world driven by necessity, and tuck them into your pouch alongside the yarrow. Denny also shows you cattail roots, their thick, starchy tubers protruding from the marshy soil near the stream's edge. These can be roasted over a fire or ground into a coarse flour, a vital staple for winter when fresh plants are scarce. Digging them up is slow, messy work, the mud clinging to your hands and knees, staining your leather leggings with dark smears. But the yield is worth it. Each root is heavy with potential, a promise of sustenance in lean times. Denny's teaching is more than practical. It's a transfer of survival, a bridge between generations that ensures your band's future. You feel a quiet pride in learning from her, knowing that one day you'll pass this knowledge to others, just as she does now, preserving the chain of wisdom that has kept your people alive for millennia. The forest grows quieter as you resume your gathering, a subtle shift that sets your nerves on edge. Denny's hand grazes her stone knife, a silent signal to stay alert, and the group tightens formation, moving closer together. Eyes scan the trees, ears strain for sounds beyond the normal. Wind through leaves, the chatter of squirrels, the distant call of a thrush. A rustling in the brush quickens your pulse. Could it be a deer, a bear, or worse, a rival band? Predators are a constant threat, their presence felt even when unseen, and other humans competing for the same scarce resources can be just as dangerous. You freeze, breath shallow, listening intently. The rustling grows closer, and through the trees, you glimpse movement. Brown shapes, massive and graceful, crowned with branching antlers. Elk, a herd of 6 adults and 3 calves, moving through the forest on their own afternoon journey. Their coats gleam in the dappled light, their antlers towering like the trees themselves. You hold still, barely breathing, as they pass within 30 feet, their hooves silent on the soft forest floor. The lead elk pauses, its dark eyes locking with yours for a long, quiet moment, a silent acknowledgement across species. Then it snorts softly, a puff of breath visible in the cool air, and moves on, the herd vanishing into the undergrowth as quietly as they appeared. Denny grins, her weathered hands forming the sign for good fortune Elk are symbols of strength and endurance, their safe passage a blessing from the forest spirits, a moment that feels like a gift in a world of constant vigilance. The encounter leaves your group energized, a reminder of the forest's beauty and danger, its ability to provide and threaten in equal measure. You continue along a new path, avoiding predictable routes that could draw predators or rivals. The forest changes as you move, the dense oak groves giving way to a stand of beeches, their smooth gray bark rising into a canopy thick with leaves that filter the sunlight into a soft, golden haze. The ground is littered with fallen beech nuts, their spiky husks hiding rich, oily kernels that are a prize for their high fat and protein content. You kneel to collect them, cracking open a few with your knife to taste their nutty, slightly bitter flavor. These nuts are a lifeline, storable for winter when food is scarce. They provide vital calories to survive the cold months. The work is tedious, prying open husks and sorting the good nuts from those spoiled by mold or insects, but it's familiar, your hands moving with the ease of long practice. The group spreads out slightly, each person filling their pouch, the soft rustle of husks blending with the forest's ambient sounds, birdsong, the creak of branches, the faint hum of insects. As the sun dips lower, casting long golden shadows through the trees, it's time to head back to the cave. The return journey feels heavier, your pouch laden with the day's finds: garlic, nuts, berries, mushrooms, yarrow, mint, cattail roots. Its weight a satisfying burden against your hip. Your legs ache from hours of walking, kneeling, and digging, but the fatigue is tempered by a sense of accomplishment. The forest is still alive, but the light has softened, the air cooling as evening approaches, carrying a crisp edge that hints at the coming night. You climb a gentle hill toward the cave, its entrance a familiar landmark against the darkening sky. The scent of wood smoke reaches you first, a promise of warmth and safety, followed by the rich, savory aroma of roasting meat. The hunters must be back, and someone has built up the fire, its glow visible even from a distance. Your stomach rumbles in anticipation, the day's modest meals no match for the hunger, stirred by the smell of fresh venison. You begin sorting your pouch's contents, a task that requires care and organization. The wild garlic bulbs go to Kale, who will use them to flavor tonight's meal, their sharp scent mingling with the smoke. The beech nuts are piled for shelling, a communal task that will occupy hands and minds after dinner. The berries are sorted, some for immediate eating, their tartness a treat for the children, others for drying, to preserve them for winter. The yarrow and mint are set aside for drying, their medicinal properties too valuable to waste, their scents a promise of healing. The honeycomb, carefully unwrapped, draws gasps from the children, its golden glow a rare treat in a world where sweetness is a luxury. The hunters, gathered around the fire, recount their day's work, their voices animated as they share the story in the communal style of your people. Each adds details, correcting or embellishing, their laughter and gestures filling the cave with life. They tracked the deer for hours, following faint signs, broken twigs, scuffed earth, a whiff of musk, through dense forest and across rocky streams. Yorick, the lead hunter, made a perfect spear throw, felling a young buck with a single strike to the heart, the kill clean and swift to honor the animal's spirit. The second deer, startled by the first's fall, ran into an ambush set by Tora and another hunter, their spears ready along its escape route. The kills were precise, minimizing suffering and maximizing the meat's quality, a testament to the hunter's skill and coordination. Their faces glow with pride, their hands gesturing vividly as they describe the stalk, the patient wait, the moment of triumph. You listen, cracking beech nuts as you work, The story a reminder of the danger and skill required to feed the band, each hunt a dance with death that could end in empty hands or a feast. The meat is prepared with care, a process that showcases your people's ingenuity and respect for their resources. Some chunks are spitted on sharpened sticks and roasted over the fire, the flames licking at the meat, releasing a smoky, savory aroma that fills the cave and sets mouths watering. Rana, a skilled cook with a knack for coaxing flavor from simple ingredients, has spent hours preparing the pit. Large stones heated in the fire until glowing red, then placed in a depression lined with clean, broad leaves from a nearby chestnut tree. The meat, wrapped in more leaves, is layered over the stones, covered with another layer of leaves, and buried under dirt to create a sealed chamber. The heat and steam cook the meat slowly, ensuring it's tender and flavorful, a technique that transforms tough venison into something succulent. The smell of the pit-cooked meat, infused with the earthy flavor of leaves and a hint of wild garlic, wafts through the cave, drawing hungry glances from everyone, even the children who pause their games to sniff the air. You join the nut cracking, the rhythmic crack of stones blending with the fire's snap and the soft murmur of conversation. The work is meditative, your hands moving automatically as your mind drifts, lulled by the cave's warmth and the familiar sounds of your people. The fire's heat seeps into the stone walls, creating a cocoon of comfort that contrasts with the forest's wildness and the day's physical demands. Children play nearby, their laughter a bright counterpoint to the adults' steady work. The youngest cling to their mothers, learning by watching, absorbing the rhythms of survival. Older children help with small tasks, sorting roots, feeding the fire with small sticks, or carrying water from the stream in leather bladders. This is their education, a gradual immersion into the skills they'll need as adults, learned through doing rather than reading or lectures. Mira, still eyeing the honeycomb, helps crack nuts, her small hands clumsy but determined, mimicking your movements with a focus that belies her age. As dusk falls, the firelight becomes the cave's heart, casting a golden glow over the gathered band. The cave walls painted with ochre images of animals, bison with curved horns, deer leaping through imagined forests, horses galloping across unseen plains, seem to come alive in the flickering light, their eyes watching over your people. The meal begins with roasted venison, its smoky flavor enhanced by wild garlic, the meat rich and chewy, its fat a precious burst of energy that feels like a gift after a long day. Old Sana, the eldest woman, tastes the first piece, her nod of approval, a ritual of respect that signals the feast can begin. The food is shared deliberately, with children and nursing mothers receiving extra portions to ensure their strength, a practice rooted in the band's survival. You savor your share, the meat's flavor deepened by the fire's kiss, the garlic adding a sharp, savory note that lingers on your tongue. A small taste of honey, carefully rationed, sends a thrill through you, its sweetness a rare joy that feels almost otherworldly in its intensity, a reminder of Tora's bravery and the forest's generosity. The pit-cooked meat emerges next, Rana carefully uncovering the steaming pit to reveal tender, succulent venison wrapped in leaves. The aroma, earthy, smoky, infused with herbs, draws gasps of anticipation from the band, even the children pausing their chatter to inhale deeply. The meat falls apart at the touch, its texture a stark contrast to the chewier roasted portions, its flavor complex from the slow cooking and the leaves' earthy infusion. Your people understand that variety in cooking isn't just about taste. Different methods preserve nutrients and make food easier to digest, a wisdom born of necessity. The meal is slow, communal, filled with stories that weave your band's history into the present. Sana tells of a brutal winter from her youth, when deep snow trapped the band in the cave for weeks, survived only through cached food and careful rationing. Her voice, steady and rich with experience, carries lessons of foresight and resilience, teaching the young to plan for lean times. The children listen, wide-eyed, as they nibble on berries and small pieces of honey, their faces sticky with sweetness, their laughter muffled by full mouths. The fire burns lower, its light softening into a warm, intimate glow that bathes the cave in a sense of peace. Children grow sleepy, their energy fading as the day's excitement catches up. The youngest are already tucked into their grass mats, furs pulled tight around them, positioned close to the fire for warmth, but safe from its sparks. The transition from day to evening happens naturally, guided by the fading light outside and the slowing pace of activity within. The cave, warmed by the fire and the presence of your band, feels like a haven, a pocket of safety carved from a world of uncertainty and danger. Adults continue their evening tasks, their movements calm and practiced, honed by years of repetition. Some mend clothing, using bone needles and sinew thread to repair tears in leather tunics or reinforce seams that bear the wear of daily life. The work is precise, requiring skill even in the dim firelight, the needles glinting as they catch the glow. Others sharpen tools, the soft chip-chip of stone on stone, a familiar percussion that blends with the fire's crackle. You check your own knife again, running your thumb lightly along its edge to ensure it's ready for tomorrow's work. The blade, crafted from flint, gleams in the firelight, its surface smooth but deadly sharp, a tool that represents hours of careful napping. Maintaining tools is a constant task. Stone dulls with use, wood splinters, leather frays. But it's a labor of love, a ritual that ensures your survival. The cave's stone walls, absorbing the fire's heat, radiate warmth back into the air, maintaining a steady temperature despite the cooling night outside, a balance that keeps the cold at bay. The social dynamics shift as evening deepens, the cave growing quieter as conversations soften into intimate murmurs. People sit closer, their shoulders brushing, their hands occasionally touching. A pat on the arm, a child's head resting on a parent's lap. Physical contact reinforces the bonds that hold your band together, a reminder that survival depends on trust and unity. The fire is the focal point, drawing everyone's gaze, its flames a symbol of warmth, protection, and the shared history of your people. Your ancestors have gathered around fires like this for hundreds of thousands of years, sharing food, stories, and dreams. Their lives a blueprint for your own. The cave feels alive with this history, its walls bearing the marks of countless generations, scratches from tool-making, soot from ancient fires, paintings that tell stories of hunts, spirits, and survival. You settle onto your grass mat, layered with moss for extra softness, and pull your furs around you. The hides, softened by years of use, carry the comforting scent of your family, smoke, and the wild molding to your body like a second skin. Your sleeping area is positioned for quick access to your tools, a spear leaning against the wall, your knife tucked under the mat, a pouch of fire-starting materials within reach, in case danger strikes in the night. Even in rest, you remain vigilant, a habit born of a world where threats never sleep. The cave grows quieter, the fire's crackle and the soft breathing of your band the only sounds. Outside, the night hums with life, owls hooting, wolves howling in the distance, the rustle of nocturnal creatures. But within the cave, protected by stone and fire, these sounds feel distant, unthreatening, like a story told from afar. Your body relaxes, the day's labors fading into a deep sense of peace. Your muscles, tired from hours of walking, digging, and carrying, release their tension, soothed by the fire's warmth and the familiar comfort of your mat. Your breathing slows, matching the gentle rhythm of the cave, each inhale drawing you closer to sleep. As you drift, you reflect on your ancestors' lives, their skills, their struggles, their love for their people. They are you, their DNA coursing through your veins, their resilience echoed in your own. They lived in harmony with the earth, their every action tied to the rhythms of nature, plant cycles, animal migrations, the turning of seasons. They knew every leaf, every track, every shift in the wind, their knowledge a lifeline in a world of scarcity and danger. Their lives were hard. Hunger, cold, injury, and death were constant companions, but they were also rich with purpose. Survival was their goal, community their meaning, connection to the land their strength. The fire burns down to glowing embers, their faint light casting soft shadows on the painted walls. The animals in the paintings, bison, deer, horses, seem to watch over you, their forms alive with the spirits of the wild, their presence a reminder of the bond between your people and the earth. Your eyelids grow heavy, the boundary between waking and sleep blurring like the horizon at dusk. The cave feels timeless, a space where past and present merge, where the lives of your ancestors and your own blend into a single story. Your ancestors' struggles laid the foundation for your world. Their fire-making led to metallurgy, their plant knowledge to agriculture, their social bonds to civilization. You carry their legacy in your body, your mind, your capacity for love and ingenuity, a thread that stretches across 25,000 years. As you drift towards sleep, the modern world fades, leaving only the essential rhythms of human existence: warmth, community, rest. Your breathing deepens, each inhale drawing you closer to dreams, each exhale releasing the weight of the day. The cave's warmth wraps around you like a cocoon, the furs soft against your skin, the grass mat a familiar comfort beneath you. The sounds of your sleeping band, slow breaths, the occasional shift of a body, blend with the fire's faint crackle, creating a lullaby as old as humanity itself. Outside, the forest continues its ancient dance, its creatures moving through the night. But here, you are safe, held by the stone, the fire, and the presence of your people. Sleep comes gently, like a tide washing over you, smooth and inevitable. The embers pulse faintly, their glow a reminder of the fire that has guided humans through countless nights, from caves to cities. Your dreams are filled with the forest, the faces of your band, the weight of a spear in your hand, the taste of honey on your tongue, the warmth of the fire against your skin. You are a modern soul tethered to an ancient past, connected across millennia to those who first gathered around fires for warmth and storytelling, who carved out lives of meaning in a world of challenge. Rest deeply, knowing you're part of a timeless tale of resilience, ingenuity, and humanity. A story that began in a cave 25,000 years ago and continues in you.